Hey, good morning. Good to be back with you. And this morning we're going to be back in 1 Samuel. I wanted to look at 1 Samuel 5. And if you remember what's going on here, we have seen that the Ark of the Covenant has been taken by the Philistines. And what happens is they get the Ark and they take it. And the verse I wanted to reflect on this morning is, it seems a little obscure, but they captured the Ark of God, and then the Philistines took the Ark of God and brought it into the house of Dagon and set it up beside Dagon. So what they did is they took took the Ark as if it represented God, the God of the Israelites, and they took that into the house of Dagon, which was their God. And I love this text when we get to chapter 5 in 1 Samuel, because it reveals that God doesn't need anyone to defend him. They put the Ark of the Covenant in there with Dagon, and they leave and they come back, and Dagon has fallen on his face before the Ark of the Covenant. And then they pick him up. They think that's a strange thing that's going on, and they pick him up and they leave, and then they come back. And when they come back, Dagon has fallen again. And Dagon is just an idol, right? But his head and his hands have been cut off and placed in the threshold of the house. And it's showing that there is no other God that is higher than our God. And I love that picture of how our God, he doesn't need us to defend him, or he doesn't need us to show how powerful he is. He allows us to be part of that. But more importantly than God being able to defend himself, we see in this text that God alone is the one to be exalted. When the Philistines take him and place him, the ark, in the place with their god Dagon, what they're showing is he's just another one of the gods. He's just someone that maybe we can come and get when we're in trouble. They saw that they could manipulate gods, kind of like Israel was trying to do before, and they just thought the same thing. They did exalt. They did say, yeah, there's something. This is something important. This is representative of a god, or it is a god. So we're going to treat it as important. But I wonder, how often do we treat our God, the true God, in the same way? It's just another God. Just he's important, and we will go get him when we need him. But am I putting him alongside all the other things that I have my hope in? Like the Philistines put him alongside. Their hope was in Dagon, and they just put the ark beside him. And I pray that that's not something that we're doing. We need to ask ourselves, though, is that something that I'm doing? Am I putting God in a temple only to use him whenever I need him? I'll come and get him if I need him. I'm not going to use him in my everyday life. I'm not going to think about him constantly. I'm not going to exalt him as God, as intimately involved with every part of my life. But if I need him, I'll go get him in the temple. Am I placing him alongside my plans? Am I placing him along my finances, my abilities? Do I place him alongside all the other things that I'm putting my trust in? Or am I putting my trust in him alone? And I hope that that's what we're doing. And a lot of times when I was reading this, I had to stop and think, Lord, is that true of me? Do I put you kind of par with everything else? Like, you're going to be on par with all of my other things, my abilities, my whatever, or am I putting all my trust in him? Am I realizing I can't do this without him? I cannot, like Jesus says in John 15:5, you can do nothing without me. Like Paul says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ. So I'm wondering, are we exalting him like that? And I want you to search your heart this morning and think about it. I want you to get in and look at 1 Samuel 5. Read the story of what the Philistines do. I mean, they put him in a place of honor. And I think a lot of Christians put God in a place of honor, but they don't treat him as God, as the one and only God, the one whom we find all our hope and trust. So ask yourself this morning, am I placing God alongside the things I have hope in, or is He alone my hope? Because He alone is our rock and our salvation. And I want to leave you with a Tozer quote. It's not the most uplifting, but I think it's a great one, and it stood out to me. So I just want to leave you with that. And it says, "We have owed Him obedience ever since the second we cried out to Him for salvation. And if we do not give Him obedience, I have reason to wonder if we really are converted." I want us to make sure that our hope is in God, in Christ alone. I pray you have a great day. God bless. Bye.